See what happens. Okay. Okay. So tonight we're going to be recording. We're going to be drawing a dungeon for the game. It's going to be a smuggler's den. It's going to be kind of like on a remote outpost. And conceptually, you could use this for your Pathfinder games or your D&D games or any game like that. But specifically, we're going to draw it and kind of keep some things in mind for Star Wars. Um, One of the things that I want to do is, well, we'll talk about it as we get going here. Um, just to get started, also, I'm using I have an Intuos 5 tablet, and so I'm drawing on that. It's great tablet. I love it a lot. It was actually given to me by a coworker who upgraded his new tablet. So this one is awesome. And I'm drawing in on Windows 10, like it says in the bottom of the screen, and I'm using an application called Clip Studio Paint Pro, which is it's designed for drawing like comics and manga and stuff like this. It has a lot of presets to let you do that, but I just use it because it's pretty quick and easy to do this. So I'm just going to go over here to my layer palette. I'm going to hide this layer and I'm going to create a new layer. And I'm going to call this one just like rough sketches. So on this rough sketches layer, we just want to like plan out the general gist of the facility. And then once we get our gist done, then what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of refine the details and kind of flesh out the area with a couple of really cool keyboard tricks and stuff like that, and some really awesome features that the app has. And then once we get that kind of like refined to the point where we want it to be, then we'll clean it up and we're going to add a ton of detail. And yeah, should be pretty good. So the idea that I had for this this dungeon, was that it was going to be like like an outpost on on kind of on the middle of a planet. So it's like, in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of only smugglers kind of know about it. It's kind of a secret cantina sort of. The facility is going to have room and board, lodging for people. It's going to have a warehouse where kind of gear can get loaded and kind of stored and saved. And then it also needs to have like a secret meeting room where weirdos can plan their evil tricks and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something really super simple. We're just going to create like just an entry. And when I draw these kinds of things, what I tend to do is I tend to just draw like really rough, just boxes, and you can see here that I'm kind of following the grid of the the background. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna draw this. This is gonna be like the entry, and we're also gonna have like kind of a staircase that leads into it. So we'll just draw this to remind ourselves that this is gonna be the staircase. So far, nothing amazing, nothing crazy, right? Like, it's pretty simple stuff. Oh, if you're wondering how I'm like drawing and I'm undoing fast enough and I'm not doing keyboard shortcuts, on my pen, I don't know if you can see this, but there's two buttons, and I have it so that the first button is undo. So, and with Clip Studio, if I just like hit undo, 3 times, it undoes, things 3 times. Whereas Photoshop, if you undo, it kind of only undoes 1 time unless you change a setting. This just by default will just undo as many things as you want. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, back to the drawing. So we have our like entry, and we have this room, and in the Star Wars movies how there's like, there's that bank on the wall that kind of tells you kind of who's entering and things like that, and like the droids in the first Star Wars movie, or the fourth one, I guess. This is going to have like a little bit of a bank on it, but we'll add those kind of details afterwards. The next thing we want is that kind of classic cowboy scenario, sort of when you first walk into the canteen or the saloon. We want people to like stop what they're doing and look at you. So the best way to do that is create like basically like a giant mess hall. We just want like a big room, just I don't know, like maybe this big, and this room is going to be where the denizens of the facility chill out, where they eat, and all that kind of good stuff. And this room's going to serve as the main branching point for the rest of all the rooms in the facility. So we have our entry and our kind of little lobby here where people can kind of shake off the dust or whatever from outside. This is going to be the main kind of chill out eating room. Here you can see that I'm just switching to the eraser tool just so I can clean the drawing up a little bit as I work. Just helps me when I'm drawing my lines and stuff. So we talked about we want to have like kind of a secret meeting room. So the best way maybe to do that is we'll make it like a downstairs meeting room. So this is going to be like a staircase. I'm just zooming in here. So this is a staircase that leads, down. And from here, and this we'll just make a little note that there's a door there, and we'll fix it later, once we get into the detail. But for now, that's all this is going to be. It's just a secret little door that leads down. The other thing I wanted to do down here, just so I can remember this later, I'm just decreasing. You can see over here, you can change the size of the brush. So I'm just decreasing the size of the brush here. I want to actually also have it so that this room, whoops, is locked. Or that door is locked. So to get in, the players are going to need a secret password or know the code for the door or learn it from somebody else. Sorry, there we go. I should also say that I use the watercolor brush by default, and it allows you to do, like if you draw over the shape, it kind of gets, you can see here, it gets like darker every time you draw over it. I don't know why I do it. I just like the way that it works for me. So that's what we're going to keep doing. So we need to draw the secret meeting room next, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of draw a meeting room that's maybe this big. That's good. And it is like a private little meeting room. And we'll just put a door there too. So this private meeting room is going to be, it's going to have a table and all sorts of other stuff in it. Yeah, so, again, we're going to get to all that funky detail and stuff like that once we finish the drawing. But for now, this is how it's going to be. The other thing I thought of is when we draw this, like having just a locked door where people can meet seems like a great idea, but I think we need more. I think we need, like, why else would it be locked? If you have any ideas in the chat while you're watching this, you can definitely hop in and let me know what you think. If you have any ideas, what we're missing, what we should add, whatever, fire away. Let me know. So, yeah, what should we put in here? I think we should probably put like, storage for like contraband. There's going to be a warehouse where they can keep their other smuggled gear, just general smuggled gear. But I think, if you think about the Force Awakens, that spot where the lightsabers kept, you want to have kind of a back room and then like a locked back room where that stuff's kept. So I think what we'll do in here is we'll just draw like a little narrow hallway. So this is going to be the narrow hallway in here, and we should make like maybe some lockers here. So we're just going to draw like a couple of lockers, and this is going to be another little narrow passageway off of here. So that's all it's going to be. We'll draw a little door here. And we're not going to make it locked because this is locked, but what we'll do is in here, what we'll do is we'll just remind ourselves that those doors, those rooms here are going to be locked. So in order to get into those, you're going to go down between those two doors and you're going to check it out. Okay. And then I think though, like if the PCs aren't able to pick those locks or get into there to see whatever it's going to be, maybe it's a cache of like stolen Imperial weapons or whatever. They still need to be kind of rewarded, I think, for having broken in here and kind of come all the way down here. So I think what we should do is we should like reward them with an unlocked kind of a loot box. So what we'll do is maybe we'll make like because all our rooms so far are all squares, so we'll just like maybe make a curved room over here with a door that opens, and in here is just going to be like just more loot. So we're just going to put in here loot. Nah, we won't do that. So we know that these rooms are going to be like private goodies, private lockup. This is going to be the secret meeting room. This is the lockers. Okay, and then that's so far our dungeon is really sloppy, but you know you can definitely get the idea, right? You kind of get the sense already that you know when smugglers come in here, they're gonna come into the main room and then see where they're gonna go, and then to get down into here, to get into the secret meeting room, they have to know the locked code to get down there, and then to get in here. And today, so I was kind of playing this stuff out today and trying to figure out what I was gonna do, and I think that the other thing I was gonna do is inside this like main room, you know, the main dining hall, I thought it would be cool to put like a fireplace. Um, and so that, you know, like say it's a cold night or whatever, people can kind of still get in here. And then I thought, you know what would be really awesome is what if there is a, uh, so this right here, I'm going to show you in like D&D when you're drawing maps, if you have anything that looks like this, it's basically a sideways S or um, you know, like this sort of thing. Basically what it denotes is a secret door. And I thought it would be cool to put a secret door behind the fireplace as like a second exit for the smugglers. So the smugglers get in here, they lock the door, they're having a secret meeting, and say the place gets raided or something like that. And people are trying to you know, hammer down the stairs. Smugglers and villains and scum always need a second way out, right? So what we'll do is we'll have it so that they're going to come out here and they can escape through the fireplace. Um, you know, not too bad. So if this is like a dining hall and stuff, the next thing we're going to need is we're going to need like a kitchen, right? So let's put a kitchen. Whoops. Let's put a kitchen just across the way from this. So just bring the size of the brush up again. Yeah, there you go. So just bring like a kitchen across here, whatever. I don't want it to be like you could just draw it to be full size, but I like my rooms to be a little more dynamic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it almost the right size, full size. No, you know what? We'll do it like this. And then what we're going to do with this room is this is going to be like a pantry. And then this is going to be kitchen. All right. So we got a pantry and we got a kitchen. And the pantry is going to be like maybe private or maybe locked. So let's check it. Let's put it in here as well. So for anybody who's just joining, when I'm drawing doors and stuff, what I like to do is I like to draw things like this, which look like a little basket, but it denotes that it's locked. So for anybody who's just joining, we're drawing a smuggler's den for the Star Wars RPG. And in this case, it's going to be like a kind of a remote planet. So through here, you're going to enter here. There's like a little lobby here. This is like a main dining hall room. There's a locked door that leads down into this secret meeting room here. And then these are like private lockers where super contraband is going to be held. This is a door where the PCs don't have to unlock to find, you know, more of that sweet, sweet contraband. And then we also set right here, you can see here this is a secret door that allows people to escape from the secret meeting room into the main hallway through. This box here is going to be a fireplace. So they have a secret way out. Yeah, so we got our pantry, we got our kitchen. Now what I thought, we need to work on like I said at the beginning of the video, this base needs two extra things, right? It needs, well, at least two. It needs a warehouse where the smuggled goods are actually kept, and then it also needs like a barracks and stuff. Like this spot is going to be just as much a storage room, or just as much like yeah, I guess a storage facility as it is like a place for smugglers to kind of lie low while somebody's searching for them, bounty hunters or the Empire or whomever. So, but I want to kind of make it into a bit of an interesting spot. So what we're going to do is, all right, we'll go down. Okay, so what we're going to do is, we're going to like, I think what we're going to do is we're going to draw like, excuse me, we're going to make some stairs that kind of come off this main room here. There's going to be a couple of doors that lead off of here, and there's going to be staircases that lead upstairs. And what those are going to do is it's just going to kind of add a little bit more detail and elevation to the facility itself. So the next thing we'll do is we will draw some angled walls here, because I like the idea of, so far all of our rooms are squares except for this curved storage chamber. So in here, we're just going to play with this idea of stairs that go up to a main hallway. There's some, and then the hallway's going to be kind of curved or whatever for now. So up here is where I think I want to have the warehouse part of the facility. And I think what we'll do with that is we're just gonna draw some broad strokes here, and just see what happens. I like the idea of almost bisecting this spot, and then I think what I want to do is I want to follow that curve on the wall there. So we're just gonna like draw a big fat curve. There we go. And again, this is super rough. We're gonna refine it as we get going. But this is going to be the general warehouse. I like the idea of making the warehouse, a circle. And then we'll change this wall actually so that it's more on an angle. On the other side of the wall is where we should probably have the smugglers. I like the idea of having the smugglers right next to the warehouse so that, if something happens with the stuff, they can get up out of bed or whatever and run in there to deal with it right away. They shouldn't have to cross the entire facility to do so. So what we'll do in here is we'll build the bunks for the smugglers. So we're just going to make like a pretty big room. Yeah, we're going to put a little door on this wall here. And that's kind of it for that. Let's delete this because I'm going to put some more rooms in here. If all the smugglers stay together in this room, I guess that's fine. But I wonder if there's a better way to do it. Like maybe there's the person who owns this facility. Somebody's always got to own it, right? Or somebody has to stay there, whatever. So maybe what we can do is we can give them their own little private room down here. So we'll just give them like if this is the amount of space for all these guys, then this is a pretty good space for this the kind of organizer, or, the boss of this space. We'll put like a little closet here, and we will lock that door as well. So we got a little locked door. We've got so I'll just make some notes here. This is the boss's room. That's really weird. This is the bunks. This is a warehouse. So as you can see right now, this entire dungeon map thing has a few ways to challenge it. One of which is, there's going to be people in here, so you can do like a lot of diplomatic checks and try to kind of work the room to get private secret passwords and go down here. Or maybe the PCs have actually been sent by somebody for a secret meeting at this place. Kind of who knows, right? There's opportunity they can just blast their way through things. They can look for things. There's doors that they can try to unlock. They can try to get security codes from other spots and kind of experiment with that. I don't really know if there's anything else that we need to add to this facility. What do you think? Should we add anything? We've got our secret meeting room. We've got our common room. We've got our main entry. We've got bunks, the boss's room, a kitchen and a pantry, warehouse. Maybe like maybe some washrooms, I suppose, would be not a bad idea. So let's just put like restroom facilities like over here, I guess, right? Yeah, we're just gonna put like a restroom facility. If those rooms are 3s, then we'll just put like a restroom facility in here like this. Okay, and we're just gonna make it also so that we're going to make it so that it's just one restroom, so anybody can use it. It doesn't matter. They don't worry about that kind of stuff in the Star Wars universe. I'm going to reposition this to the center of the screen. To do that in Clip Studio Paint Pro, you just hit K on the keyboard, which turns your pointer into this like cool arrow with the plus, and you can just drag the whole thing around. So we're going to drag it to the middle of the screen here, to the middle of the canvas. I just want to kind of line it up with some of the lines on some grids so that it'll be easier for me to play with later. And then now that we got that done, what we're going to do is we're just going to, I think it's time to just start to, you know, really play around with it and kind of figure out, like, refine a lot of this jagged, gross edges. So to do that, I'm just going to lock the layer. I'm still have this layer on it, so I'm just going to lock that one too, so I don't mess with it, and I'll lock that one. So they're only locked because you can see here that it gives me the red circle, which means you can't edit the file or this layer. So just so I don't draw on things by accident. So we're going to create a new layer, and on this layer, we're going to switch back to B, which is our brush here. And what we're going to do though is, you can see here that like if I start drawing on this thing, it's kind of hard to tell where my lines are, you know? So to get around that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the layer of the opacity of the drawing layer. And in order to do that, I need to unlock it so I can adjust it. And this is the opacity of it. So if I drag it all the way down, you can see that you can still kind of see it's like onion skin, like old school animation. You can see it kind of hide mostly, but it's still available to view. And then if I go to the current layer, you can see that my drawing, you know, I can go over top of it. So we're going to hide this layer. We're not going to hide it. We're just going to like lock it so that, again, I can't draw on it. So now we get our big layer. We're ready to draw our next step. And you saw before when I was drawing like my curves and stuff, those actually are pretty awesome, those ones that I'm doing right now. But you can see that like I tend to undo right away and just kind of redraw it until I get it to be how I want. And that's fine. That's a great thing to do, and I do it all the time no matter what. Hey, what's up, Nate? But what we're going to do is we're going to play with this, and I want to do better than that. So Clip Studio Paint Pro has this really cool thing called, you can see here that it has it has grid, right? So it shows you the boxes in the background. But it has this amazing thing called Snap to Grid, which is also Control 3. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to do this. Watch this. When I draw along the boxes, if I leave the lines, it actually follows the lines as close as it can to where my pen was, which is really awesome. And actually, you could use that to just like quickly draw up a dungeon here, you know? Like, there we go. There's your dungeon. It's got 7 rooms or whatever, and you're good to go. Pretty awesome, right? Like, very simple kind of tool to use. It doesn't draw curves well, but we'll shut it off for doing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here, and we're going to just start really drawing this room out. Whoops. You're killing me here, Smalls. So we're just going to, you know, draw some general boxes. We want to stick to the lines that we've already created, right? So we're just going to use this snap to grid, and you can tell that snaps to grid's on because when I leave the grid, it breaks it on purpose, or it follows me no matter where I go. So we're just like cleaning up these lines. You can see already that the lines are already cleaned up. The other thing with Clip Studio Pro is if I hold down the R button, I can actually rotate the canvas, free rotate it, which is pretty great. If I want to put it back, I can just shift it. But yeah, so if I ever need to, well here actually what we'll do is we'll adjust it here. And we'll just go, okay, keep following my lines here to the application. So we just want to like keep the lines kind of going here. This is going to be where our kitchen is. So we're just going to draw our line like this, right? You can see here that, you know, we're still roughing the drawing out, but at the same time, the drawing is getting it's a lot cleaner. You know, there's no weird long jagged lines and stuff. So we're just going to keep drawing this facility out, following the general sketch grid that we did before. Again, because this wouldn't follow this, what we're going to do when we clean this up, is we're going to shut off our snap to grid and we're going to draw our curves out later on. So we're just going to keep drawing here. We're just this is our kitchen, like we said. This is the pantry in the kitchen. These are the stairs that lead up to the warehouse. This is the washroom. This is the room of the guy or the person who runs this entire facility, the smuggler boss sort of thing. It's like Cake Boss except smuggling, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, we're just following our lines that we created in our roughs layer here. You can see here that you know, over in the side we still have a roughs layer visible. So we're just drawing our lines here, following them. Whoops, whoops. Oh, sometimes it's really difficult to follow those lines. We're just gonna hold down Shift and rotate our canvas again. We want to draw, yeah, like this. So from the look of it, oh, don't forget about this guy here, the main entry, right? So, and again, some of these, you can see that some of these lines are a little too big, you know, but we're gonna fix those in post. This is gonna be that fireplace that we talked about in the facility. So far, so good, right? Even if we hid this layer, you can still sort of see the aspects of the place that we're actually trying to draw. So what we're going to do is we're going to control 3, which shuts off the snap to grid, and we're going to zoom in, and we're going to take care of some of those curved lines. That was a pretty good one. I shouldn't have deleted that. Pretty good still. That's great. Let's work on this warehouse, so we'll curve it out. That's actually not a bad one. Yeah, that's okay too. That's fine. And then we're just going to like connect the dots on this box here and on this box here. Yeah. So we got our, oh yeah, don't forget about the hallway at the top of the stairs here. How should we do this? Let's just draw this, and we'll just connect it with this. I know I had a curve on the wall before, but yeah, whatever. So now, if we shut off this layer, all the aspects of our drawing are still exist, and we've basically knocked out the entire facility. You can see I'm just clicking the eyeballs in the sidebar in the palette so that I can hide the layer to make sure that everything I need is where it is. All right, so we're good. So that's great. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to zoom in, and I'm just going to like clean up a bunch of these extra lines. There's a lot of like extra cruft that hangs over the side. So we're just going to go in and we're just going to clean it up. Whoops. And yeah, if you're in the chat and you're watching me draw, what I'm drawing is I'm drawing a Smuggler's Den for the Star Wars role-playing game. I guess if you're watching and you're one of my players, then I guess you'll know all the things that's happening. But it's easy enough to make a change afterwards, or to, you know, make it so that you're not running in and shooting up the place. Also, maybe you come in here and you know what the facility's like. But that's what I'm drawing. If you have any questions about the artwork or anything else, maybe your tabletop game, or the application I'm using, or you know, the keyboard shortcuts, or whatever you want to ask me, fire away, and I will do my best to check it out. We're just cleaning up a lot of these little lines down here. We don't want, you know, because of the nature of the drawing, there's, you know, a lot of extras. But you can see that now that we're starting to clean these things up, it's actually starting to really come together and be a nice little facility. So the Smuggler's Den is doing some serious work on it here. So just cleaning it up. Just using the eraser tool, very simple stuff. I can make the brush a little bit bigger, the eraser brush a little bit bigger here. This Smuggler's Den facility is going to be kind of a cool challenge for the players. You know, usually when you play games like D&D or Pathfinder, you have a spot like this where you bust into, and you tend to just kind of hack your way through it and, you know, get the loot at the end. And this one, you know, you could even run this as an empty facility where maybe there's nobody there, and players have to figure out like why there's nobody there, or you know, whatever. But yeah, we're almost done here, just cleaning these lines up. This is still a little messy in here, so just switching the brush tool. We're zooming in to clean it up. And this is a little annoying for me too. Okay. So there you go. There's our facility. If you hide it, this is the original one that we drew, just to kind of get a very rough guideline of how it's going to look down. And then this is the final. Well, final. I still mean it's rough, but you get the idea. What we're going to do is we're going to rename this layer so I don't mess it up or don't forget about it. And we're just going to call this like blueprints. And the blueprint is just like, the building dimensions and this is the actual facility itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to draw some new things. So we're going to create a new layer. I like to work in, you can see here, I love to work in layers. We're going to call this like doors and stairs. Oops. All right. So doors and stairs. So we're going to turn our old layer back on, and we need to kind of go in and figure out where all of our doors were, and we're going to draw them on here. The way we're going to do that is we're just going to draw them as boxes. These denote where the doors are. Put a door like right here, I suppose. In the Star Wars RPG, one of the things, like in D&D and Pathfinder, each of these squares would be 5 feet. But in Star Wars, that's not really the case. It doesn't really use that kind of specific grid. So we don't really have to worry about that per se. But we're going to make some doors up in here. And then we said that this would be a door because you can see where that line is there. So we're going to draw a door here. We said that we were going to make like a secret door here. So let's curve the wall here and we'll draw our, put our secret symbol there. So far you have your main entry. Oh, we better draw our, our door for this. So our main entry door, this is our little lobby, this is our common room, this is our secret meeting room down here, and doors to exit and enter down there. So this is our kitchen. What we'll do is we're going to draw, we better let people get into this room. So we'll draw like a little door here, and then we'll put a little door down here that leads into the pantry. We're going to put this is the door for this room. So we're going to put, this is for the crime boss or the smuggler boss's chambers, and this is his storage closet, where there could be, other secret contraband. And then we're going to put the door to the actual room. I keep saying his, could be anything, gender neutral, doesn't matter to me. But this is the room to the door to here. This is going to be a larger room or a larger door. And what I'm doing here is I'm drawing like a big circle instead of the little squares. And what the circles are for me, I don't know if this is like an official way to draw these things for, other maps. But when I draw a circle like this, it means that it's like an open door. So this is going to be like a vaulted walkway. There are not doors here that separate it, but there is a clear definition of a line to the next or this staircase. So we're gonna do that on both sides. We're just gonna draw open vaulted doors that lead up these stairs, and we'll do the stairs once we get the doors done. So the next thing is this is going to be the chambers for the all the smugglers. When they like I said before, if they're trying to lay low or they're trying to maybe somebody's chasing them. Maybe there's a hut that they stole contraband from, or maybe it's like the Empire's after them or whatever. So this is going to be the chamber for those guys or those people. Up here, we also said that this is going to be the restroom for anybody. We have a kitchen and stuff, but we don't have a restroom, so that wouldn't be the best. And this keeps the restroom close enough to the main hall. So that once they eat, they can use it or whatever. I don't know how Star Wars works. I should maybe make this room a little more. We'll talk about it in a minute. Anyway, what we're going to do here is this is the giant warehouse where the contraband kind of comes in and gets dealt with. I thought about doing a big open door, which is kind of cool in theory, but the problem with that is that I don't think it would be wide open to the warehouse. I feel like there would be like a door to secure the gear. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw that. So again, I'm holding out R on my keyboard and I'm rotating the entire canvas, you can see. And so what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. Actually, I'm going to zoom back out. It's easier to draw a bigger box. Whoa, that's funny. Back to the brush, yep. And we're just going to draw like this. I'm doing using the selection tool because I like that box, but I don't like where it is. So I'm using the selection tool, choosing K, and we're just going to drag this box down until we get it to be kind of where we want. And then I'm going to click M to swap off of it. Whoops, that's the wrong button. Oh, come on now. R and Shift 2. There we go. So we have all of our doors in the facility ready to go. Everything has been doored up, right? If we hide that layer, you can see where all the doors are. You can see them as they compare to the original. I don't think we've missed any entries, but if we have, let me know in the chat, or you think we've missed anything else, let me know in the chat, and we'll definitely get it added to it. The other thing we're going to do before we move on to some detail work is we're going to add the doors and stairs here. So, the stairs. So because of the nature of this thing, we're going to actually have it so that the stairs here go up. And the best way to draw that is actually to draw like kind of a pyramid sort of, so that the stairs themselves denote which direction they point in. So these stairs are pointing in this way, right? They're pointing to the left, which means people will go up these stairs to get here. Or they can use like a floating sort of thing, like the kind that they would use to drag somebody in frozen carbonite around. That same sort of issue. And down here, because of we don't need a plateau, excuse me, to get people in here. What we're going to do here is we're going to draw the same thing. We're going to draw the stairs, but we're going to start the stairs closer to the door here. And we're just going to like do the same thing so that people know, that the game master know, or whoever knows that, again, there's a staircase here that leads up to the main landing. And maybe what we'll do here is we'll do the same thing. So just continue these stairs on until they kind of reach the top. So there's like a little landing here, and then you know, another kind of bigger landing up there. You know what I'm going to do actually is we're going to delete these ones, and we're just going to I like these ones a lot. So we're going to grab these, and then we're going to copy them, and then we're going to paste them, change to this tool, and we're just going to drag them down here. So you can, what we're going to do is we're just going to reuse those stairs. We don't have to redraw them if we don't want to, and we don't want to, so we're not going to. I'm going to save my work now because I'm forgetful, so we'll save it. Okay, cool. So we have our stairs. Oh no, whoa, that was funny. Stream still okay? There's a weird blip in the stream there, but seems like it's still okay, right? Okay, cool. All right. So this is our main entry, the stairs kind of coming in. So what we're going to do is we're just going to draw, just to kind of denote that these are stairs kind of coming in. You know, that's kind of how it is. And you can see here, oh, actually, that's funny. We just talked about them going the other way, right? So we're just going to go to K. I'm just going to transform, free transform. We're just going to rotate upside down. So now when you look at these drawings, so now the stairs point up, which means to go up, the smuggler's den is actually going to be underground. There's going to be a staircase from the surface that leads down, and you can see that because of the way that the wedge is shaped, up is down, which is weird, but it's south. I don't know. You go anyway. We'll get there in a bit. So we have our doors and stairs. Oh yeah, we actually copied the layer assets. So what we're going to do is we're just going to select both these layers. We're going to merge them into one layer. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I wonder if I can merge just these two. Merge layers F. I might have to do that in a different way. Combine selected layers. Hide it. Perfect. All right, so we combined our separate layers. We're still good. The other thing we did forgot to do is we forgot to draw the staircase for the secret meeting room. So we're going to draw same thing, but we're just going to make it so that you can tell that the stairs here lead up instead of down. Okay. Whoops. Make this bigger. There you go. And we'll do the same thing here. So we want these stairs to go. Whoops. Like this. So again, you come in this door, there's stairs, these stairs lead down, there's a little landing here, and then they lead down again. So I think now we have all the stairs done, right? If you're in the chat and you don't think I've done all the stairs, let me know. But so far, our facility looks pretty good. You know, you can start to get the gist of how it's going to work. The one thing we're going to do now is we're going to lock the layer we're working on, unlock the blueprint layer. And this is a really just annoying thing for me, but whoops, unlock that layer, please. There we go. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to zero out these things. So we're going to zero out just this gaps in here. So that when you're looking at the drawing super quick, you can tell what is what. There's no like, extra lines and stuff hiding in the doorways or whatever. So we're just gonna zero all these things out here. All right, let's clean these things up a bunch here. This secret, yeah, we can zero this out as well, just to kind of create a little bit more space so you can tell what's happening in there. Clean this up. Clean this one up. And I think that's it, isn't it? Did we get them all? Yeah, I think we did. So if we do that now it's really starting to kind of come together. You can see this is our original sketch of the facility. It was really messy, but it was just, to get the job done, figure out where these rooms are. And then now it's starting to really get cleaned up and kind of come together as, a pretty cool spot. I want to add like a little bit of, this is really weird, but I want to add like a little bit of like flavor to this space. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw a, come on now. Yeah, fine enough. We're going to change this bathroom. This is a really weird thing, but I wanted to change the bathroom, and there's going to be like a big, like a hot tub spring in here. We'll figure that out in a minute, but I just want to make it a little more, get a little more je ne sais quoi. So we got our facility, we got our main entry, we have our the stairs that lead in, we have our main entry, we have our giant common room with our fireplace, secret staircase that leads down to our secret meeting room, some private lockers where high security contraband is kept. We have our kitchen, we have our pantry, we have the room and the storage room for the boss. We have the barracks where all the smugglers stay when they want to lie low, and we have our main warehouse facility. Oh, and the washroom. So our facility's pretty much done. I think it looks good. I think what we're going to do now is, this is the part that I really like to do, is we're going to add detail. So we're going to go into this. This is the part of the map. You could run your game right now and kind of figure out what you're going to do. And just, okay, knowing what I told you about the rooms, you could make up whatever you want your own rooms to be, but you could look at this and go, all right, I get it. This is how it's going to work. You know what? Actually, let's change this from detail, and we're going to call this labels. So what we're going to do with the labels is we're going to like put on things like, entry, that kind of stuff, just so that anybody who approaches this thing can actually kind of tell what's going on. So we zoom in here, knock the brush size down to maybe an 8. Yeah, okay. And we're just going to go, we're just going to call this entry. So that's our main entry. People will come in there. This is our this is our lobby. This is our common room. This is our secret meeting room. Okay, this is high security. That's what these are, high security lockers. This is the restroom. This is the restroom. It's the common room. Okay, so this is the kitchen down here. This is the pantry. Okay, this is the boss's room. This is boss's storage. These are the barracks. And then this is the main warehouse. All right, so we got our main warehouse, we got all of our labels applied to each of the rooms. So now you can kind of look at the rooms and go, okay, remember before how I said you could run your game with this basic map and kind of get started right away? That was when the map looked like this. And you still can, you can still know that, you can start people in any room and kind of make your way through. But now you can tell what the rooms are actually supposed to be. And we can talk a bit more about the flow, I suppose, of the way that the rooms work. I want there to be, multiple ways to get up into these spots. I don't want, like typically in a dungeon, you might go, okay, well here's my hallway, and there's like a room, and then there's like another hallway, and then there's maybe another little room, and then there's another hallway, and then there's like a big, like this is where the boss fight happens, and then maybe we'll put like another little room off of here, right? A standard dungeon might be designed like that, but the problem with this dungeon is it's kind of boring because there's only this way to go. There's like a little bit extra fun, but like it's really just you you just move like this through the rooms to get to the end, right? And it's not really very fun. You could maybe switch that up by doing, something like this and having like, oh, there's two ways to get where I need to go instead of this, and give the players a little more freedom. And that's what we've done with our smuggler hideout here. Is we've given the players a lot of freedom. They could discover the secret door right here and skip this locked security and go in this way. They can approach the warehouse from one of these two directions. It's really up to them how they want to progress through the space. So we got our labels. We're going to lock these off so we don't draw on the layer and ruin our sweet picture. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do details. We're going to save my work here. In case this screen goes weird, I don't know why it's doing it, but when I save my work, sometimes it goes weird. Whoops. Maybe it's not going to do it now. Okay, so let's go into this lobby. We talked before about when I first started, we're going to draw... we want to do, in the Mos Eisley Cantina on the wall when they walk in, there's like the kind of scanner on the wall. I still don't know what that's for. I assume it's like detects that there's droids and they should get out of here or whatever. But we're going to indicate that kind of thing exists on the wall. So we're going to draw one of those right here. So just a little kind of scanner on the wall. You can even draw, you can kind of get into whatever detail you want to get into with the scanner. But there's your scanner on the wall in this room. We're forcing the perspective by drawing, like the kind of vertical stuff, but the lines so you can see the front of the face of it. But we'll go from there. The one thing too about this is, you might draw these details and then, afterwards in your game master notes, you could just write down like, okay, in the lobby, there is a scanner, and so the scanner could look for like life signs. It could look, the scanner could look for really anything, right? It could look for like weapons or like weapon types, like maybe it's looking for carbines or an energy signature. It could scan for like droids. It could scan for life forms. Maybe it's like, maybe it could scan for like, a disease or something that might be going around. Like, you don't know, but the scanner could really scan for anything. It's your game, so let it do whatever you want to do. So we got our scanner in there. The next thing is we're gonna have some like in this common room here. We want to have like some tables that people are eating on, right? So let's just draw some of these tables here, and we'll just knock these out super quick. Yeah, so we're just gonna draw just a bunch of like little tables in here. All right, pretty simple, nothing crazy to it. When you zoom back out, those kind of look bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to erase them and we're going to draw them better. So again, this is the part of the thing that I like to do, is just kind of like work on these tiny little details. Maybe we'll add the legs to it once we figure out general shapes. We'll put like maybe a table over here in the corner, sort of thing. Okay, and then anything else? Maybe we'll put a couple of round tables. That's right in front of the door. That's perfect. Put a round table here. We'll put a round table like right by this door. There's a bunch of smugglers in here, so you know. Okay, so we'll put like 6 tables in the spot. Nothing crazy. But those are the tables, and we'll draw the legs and stuff like that on them later on. Just cleaning this up. Okay. So next up, we're going to draw the secret meeting room. So the secret meeting room should have maybe a shelf that runs around the room. So we'll draw this, and we'll maybe make the shelf just kind of run all the way around the room here. And the way we'll force the perspective here, we'll delete this, is we're going to draw a little line here, and then we're just going to draw like this. Whoops. Okay. So you can see here that you kind of get the idea. And we'll draw like little doors on it. We'll make these into actual kind of like lockers, and we'll put that kind of thing on it. And then over here, what we'll do is we'll do the same. Maybe we won't do the same sort of thing. You can see here, there you go. You got your lockers kind of going in this room, right? So what we'll do is, maybe we'll just draw lockers again. We just kind of changed the orientation of the pen while we were drawing it, so that they would kind of floor around the room. But there's your lockers, and we'll put like maybe an interestingly shaped table in this room. We'll eventually get it right. Okay, so we got our interesting table. Put another table in the corner where deals can be made, and we'll put a chair at the table. Okay. In our locked rooms, we should maybe do something similar to what we did in the other spot. So we'll just draw, this kind of thing. We'll draw our lines here, and then we'll put a little door on it, sort of thing here. And we will draw, we'll just continue this line over here. So we got like a little locked door in here. And then over here, what we'll do is we'll just draw same sort of thing that we drew before. And we'll just put this here. A couple of doors here. Delete this line to clean it up. And then, whoops, come on now. There we go. So there, now we got our high security lockers in here. In this room, I don't know, there might be like a different kind of contraband in here. So we're just going to draw some general sort of boxes, some crates, whatever. Draw some circles to put in. Maybe these are like drums or barrels or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. And then we'll draw maybe some I don't know. I don't know what that could be. Bolts, fabric. I don't know. Whatever. We're just trying to. We're not trying to detail it super thoroughly. We don't want it to be insane, but we do want to give it a little je ne sais quoi to the piece itself, so that anybody who comes in can kind of go, oh, okay, I get the gist of what's happening here. In the restrooms here, I don't know how Star Wars physiology works, so we're just going to create a couple of stalls here, I guess. They can be used for, I don't really care. And then here we're going to draw we're going to make this into a tub, and then we're just going to put this little symbol in it to denote that there's water in it. Easy enough. We got our hot tub rolling. And then we got our high security lockers, secret meeting room, common room. I think we're going to delete the label here for the common room, and we're going to put it up here and have an arrow, just so we can keep the only artwork on the wall in there. Inside the boss's storage room, let's put the boss is sitting on. She is sitting on a fancy drum of some kind, or a fancy chest. So put that there. And then we're going to kind of do the same thing on this wall, where, actually, you know what, we're going to delete this and we'll move it. We're going to sit here, we're going to put, some secret doors here, or some doors here. We'll just move that chest or, storage locker or whatever, foot locker into here. So we got the boss's storage. everything's looking good so far. Lots of storage, lots of kind of secret, well, just information, I guess. The boss's room needs like bunk, so we're just using like kind of standard D&D or Pathfinder style assets. So this is how I draw beds, just to kind of denote that it's a bed. I don't know, nothing fancy. Then we're gonna draw like the similar sort of like dresser sort of thing, you know, where stuff can be. And then just because we want to get super weird, let's put some like, just put some some things on top of it to make it look like, you know, ooh, there's, you know, stuff on top of the thing there. So in here we need to put some beds, right? So the beds that I drew before look like they're about 1.5 kind of squares wide. So we're just gonna draw this bed out, and then we're going to do like like this. So just a bed, simple bed, and like, you know, you can describe in your game how you want this to be. But we're just doing this for now. So we're just gonna go. We're gonna do copy paste, and we're just gonna drag it down. Paste it again. We're gonna drag it down here. So now we got 3 beds in here. We're gonna paste it again. We're gonna, oh, right, of course. I need to select this object. We're gonna transform this object. We're gonna rotate it, and then we're going to actually we're gonna rotate it back this way. Put it on the one on this wall. We're gonna copy that and paste it. Switch to the K. We're gonna put it here. Not bad. And then we're gonna paste it again. We're gonna transform it, and we're gonna rotate it. We're gonna put it here. Whoops. All right. So there's our barracks room. We got a bunch of beds in there, 6 beds. You can see over here it just created, you know, like tons of layers here over in the side palette. So we're gonna select these layers. We're gonna right-click on them, and we're gonna go Combine Selected Layers into the Detail layer. So they're all still together. It's easy enough to figure out. It's easy enough to follow. The one thing that these lockers are gonna need, though, is they're gonna need let's put storage over here on this wall, so that anybody who wants to kind of come in could come in. You know, I just thought it might be cool also. This could be maybe the PCs get this space to you know, maybe they win it in like a game of chance, or they take it over and it becomes their HQ, you know, which would be pretty cool. But we got storage here now for that, and let's put some like, you know, just to kind of give the players some interesting stuff. We'll put some like foot lockers at the end of the beds here. And then we'll put one here. All right. So we got our foot lockers in here. I think everything's working well. We're really starting to flesh out the dungeon, or the smuggler's den. So let's go back into the pantry here. The pantry's going to be really snug, I think. I think it will be. I think it would be cool to make it really snug. So we're just like forcing perspective here. I'm just going to try to put some doorknobs here if I can make it work out. Yeah, there you go. It's a really snug environment in here. There isn't a lot of room to move because it's storage for food. But that's how it's gonna simply be, you know. In the kitchen also, I guess we'll need some like burners, and I like the idea of the burners kind of being like kind of tandoori styled. So I like the idea of it being like a bit more of an organic sort of kitchen. I almost said chicken. That would be hilarious. So we're just like, we're gonna draw these circles here for the spots where, you know, people can do their cooking and stuff. And in order to like make these things, make it so that you can tell that they're on fire or they're warm, I always draw these like wispy vapors. So you can see here that like, oh, these are all potentially hot, right? And we'll put like, ooh, That's funny. Draw a little thing here. Nope, wrong. Back to the brush, yeah. And we'll draw like we'll put a little table right in the middle of the room here. Like an island or some kind of kitchen island or whatever. So we get our kitchen done, we got the pantry done, we got the common room mostly, and we still have to add chairs. We have the lobby done with our scanner, we have the secret meeting room, high security lockers, no security locker, and we have the boss's room, the boss's storage room, and the barracks. So next we're going to work on the what's in the main warehouse. And I had a thought today while I was kind of messing around, just kind of preparing for this, and I thought, you know, what would be cool would be if the smugglers created, maybe they have like, they have a shooting range set up. So I thought what we could do is like maybe draw like, you know, something like this. We're gonna create, you know, like another unlock this layer. We're gonna create another like round thing just to indicate that, you know, there is an open door here. You delete this, and then in this area over here, we're gonna say that they kind of walled off a zone, and they made a shooting range in here. So you can come in here and you can test like your weapons and stuff. So we're gonna create kind of like they should have in the tower of the new Destiny thing, right, Dave? Um, anyway, so this is a spot where, you know, they have like their weapon storage or whatever, you know, or like repair tools or, you know, whatever you want it to be, sort of thing. Those things are in here. So you know, that's what that is. And then you can just kind of stand on this line, maybe right here, and then you can just kind of, these are just painted in the floor or whatever, and they're just lines down here, right? So they're just range lines or something. And yeah, this is just like a little shooting gallery. So we're going to change this. We're going to call this we're going to call this practice range. Although it shouldn't be on this layer, should it? No, it should not. So we'll delete this. I could just copy and paste it, but I don't like that lettering anyway. So anyway, back to here. I'm going to delete that because that line's a little long and it's ugly. So now in the main warehouse, what are we going to put in the main warehouse? Well, I thought there should be some like big boxes that like nobody really knows what's inside them. Maybe it was a shipment once that got kind of forgotten or whatever. We're just rotating transforming the thing here. We're just going to draw some like, there's some giant crates that maybe have like Imperial insignias on them or something like that, just to kind of denote like, whoa, these are serious business. The other thing about this, that this could be too, with the way that we're organizing these things, is should, you know, fighting and stuff kind of break out. No, that's not what we want to do. Wrong button. That's what we want to do. Should firing or shooting break out, and you know, we want to kind of create a spot where people could take cover between these crates. The other thing maybe we want to do is we want to create an area where, you know, of interest, like maybe there's a section that some crates are like walling off. So we can kind of mess with that too. What we'll do is we'll draw some more of these crates here. Sorry, it's in my eye today. So we're just gonna kind of barrel off some of this stuff here. Oops. And then, yeah, that's all we're gonna do is just kind of keep barreling this stuff off. In the middle here, we'll put some more of those, I don't know, fabric bolts, or I don't know what it is. Maybe like a coil of hoses, a couple of those laying around. Some like, yeah, I don't know. It's the thing, right? Like, it's really up to you. We're really just adding like, we're really just drawing flavor here. We're not we're drawing things to like inspire the DM who's going to be using this, right? But you get the idea. So we have our like main warehouse with some big crates, maybe some weird Imperial insignias on them. and then other shipping crates. So let's put a little bit more detail on these crates just so you can tell what they are. Yeah, we'll draw it this way. It's just easier, I suppose. Just rotate the canvas. And then on these things, I like the idea of them like, they're big crates, but they're like different. So we're going to kind of put, you know, this like side things on them. I don't know. I don't know. It's just flavor anyway. Okay. And then, whoops. And we'll rotate this. Switch back to this, rotate back. All right. Excuse me, just gonna get some water here. So far so good, right? It actually looks like an interesting, intriguing space, you know, with a lot of kind of cool options, right? So we're gonna like hide this, or we're gonna lock down this details layer. Actually, we're gonna unlock it. I'm gonna change the name to details. Copy 5. It should be just details. Okay. So let's lock this down. Let's also save the work. We're going back to the labels layer, and we're going to make our changes how we wanted to do before. So we're going to delete the common room label, like we said we would, and we're going to put it up here. This is the common room. The arrow there. Yep, you can tell what that is. And then over here, we're going to have like firing range. So we got our main warehouse, firing range. You know, we've got all of our assets. The only thing that sucks is that I don't like is I don't like the tables in the common room, because this is a detail that for me, but it's the line height or the line size that isn't working for me. It needs to be bigger. So we're gonna redraw these, and I think what we'll do is we're gonna put like we'll have like maybe one big table in the center of the room. That's maybe a little too big, too wide. I mean, so this is going to be our main table in the center of the room, and then what we're going to do is maybe we should have like private booths, kind of like they have at the Star Wars Cantina. It's a little too big, isn't it? Well, let's do this. Let's go here, and then we'll draw this. Okay, that's fine. We're not selling this to anybody, I guess. So we'll create another booth right here, and we're gonna put. Whoop. Oh, come on now. Good enough. We'll put like a round table here. We'll put another round table here. And we'll put, we'll draw a booth in this corner here. So there's our booth over here. We'll kind of like make that a little bigger, and we'll clean it up afterwards with our pens and stuff. There's our line there. Okay, so I think those are our details for this room. So we're going to do is we're just going to go zoom in here, and we're just going to clean this up a bit so you can kind of see what's happening. We're just cleaning off like these kind of tags, basically. Drawing like this is a great way to, it gives you extra space if you want to, you know, kind of mess with things. Looks a lot better. So what we're going to do is we'll draw the tables in the middle of each booth. Table and booth. Whoops. Okay. Table in the booth. And then what we'll do too is, like we did in the private meeting room, we're going to put some chairs at this table. Or maybe they should be a bench. What do you think, chat? Should it be a bench or should it be just some chairs? What do you think? You think smugglers would prefer chairs, their own chairs, so they can swivel in and out of those chairs easily? Or do you think they would prefer just a long bench that's easier to get it in and out of? I suppose if we give them a bench, we're presuming that they're bipedal. And if they're chairs, then droids can saddle up to the table better too. So let's do that. Let's actually make them into chairs. So, but just because they're smugglers, they don't like always keep their furniture. Like these are pretty fancy. Like all the chairs are organized in a proper way here. You know, it shouldn't be the case because they're smugglers and they don't care how they leave their furniture when they're done with it. I know it's dumb, but anyway. And we'll add some like legs to the chairs and the table. So one is too thick here. Okay. Well, we better put all right. There's our common room. There's all our chairs around the main table. Here's some like here's some like kind of one-off tables. We better put some chairs at them too, so that nobody gets left out. And then one more here, right? You know what? You can't really tell that there's a chair on that table, or a leg on that chair. All right. Better save this. But I think that this is a pretty good smuggler hideout. Like we said here, we're gonna let's lock this down before I wreck it. Like I said, we're gonna have it so that the players enter here. Maybe out here there's like, you know, a rocky sort of mountainside sort of thing. You know, maybe let's just add that for flavor here. We're gonna make the brush really big. Okay. Well, it's like, okay, this is, you know, this is how the rocky wall is going to be outside. And maybe it's even kind of doubles back on itself so that, you know, it's hard to find, right? But that's the idea. And then they can kind of come in here. Okay, let's name that. Whoops. Let's call that. All right. So the PCs would come in here, enter into the lobby where the scanner is. Then they go into the common area where there's tables and booths and a big table and a fireplace that blazes at one end. There's a kitchen with a bunch of kind of tandoori cooking spots and a pantry. And then they can go down the stairs to the secret meeting room. They can check out the high security lockers. They can find it the low security locker, or they can find the secret room that leads them from this high security locker into the fireplace. I just realized that this is a lower elevation, so maybe there's like a ladder or something that leads up into this room. They can visit a restroom if they want, which has like a steaming hot tub, or maybe a frozen hot tub, or a frozen tub. I don't know how people work. Stairs that lead upstairs, just to kind of give it a bit more interesting in elevation. To the boss's room, which probably should be locked. We're going to draw that stuff on a layer here. A barracks where people can rest with some foot lockers, lots of stuff to investigate. Main warehouse full of like giant shipping crates that have like Imperial insignias and barrels and coils of hose and stuff. And then there's a firing range where they've kind of sectioned off part of the main warehouse and put a firing range where you can test weapons. I think that the last thing we need to add, whoops, that was funny. The last thing we need to add is just locks. And the locks are going to be locked rooms, right? So the one thing that we determined earlier was we figured out where our locks would be. Where's my doors? There we go. So we've on our original map, you can see that we have locks drawn, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to go in here, go into all these layers, add all our layers back on, except for maybe, yeah, the lobby one. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the thing a little smaller, draw our lock. You know what? Hang on a sec. We're going to do this. So we want to draw a lock here, and we want to point it at that door. So when you see this, you can see, oh, there's a lock, and it's pointed at that door. So it's easier to kind of identify, right? We want to have the boss's like pantry here, this room here locked. So we're just going to draw this. Select it because it's too close. I need to put an arrow in there. And we're just going to like draw a little arrow here to denote that that's locked. Hopefully, you know, I can figure that out, or whomever can figure that out. This is also going to be locked, the main door to the warehouse, but all the smugglers know what the code is. So if the PCs can get that code off the smugglers, then they'll be fine. But we're trying to create, like, again, lots of opportunities to try new things, right? So maybe the one thing that they try is they're going to try to like socially deceive somebody or socially engineer somebody to get that code, or maybe they want to brute force it by smashing their way through, or maybe they want to like use the computer to pick a lock or something like that. But all those things, we want to give them a bunch of different places where they can do that. Check this out. This is funny actually, because I have the layer for the labels turned off here. The thing was actually hard to see, so we're going to draw our thing here again, and this time, there you go. So we got 3 locked doors, we have lots of hangout meeting rooms, we have lots of storage and lots of secret, we got a secret door, well, lots of things to explore, lots of things to check out. I think this is pretty good for our secret meeting facility. Let's change this actually. Let's unlock this. And we're going to put our bottom on the table there, our legs on this chair. Put some legs on this just so you can tell that it's kind of a table. We better put some seats around it too. Perfect. And then the other thing we'll do, just to add a little je ne sais quoi to this, is we're going to put like a big map on this table, and we'll have like some star charts on it. Something, we'll see. We'll put some like detail work on this, and then this thing over here, we're going to put some detail on this table too, just to kind of let the game master know that, oh, there's something going on here, whether it's a detail on the table, who knows. I did also decide that these things have round kind of table bottoms, so that's how those are going to work. Just need them all to look the same so that the game master can go, oh, these are tables. These tables don't have chairs. Better give it a chair. Let's just put them both on this side here. All right, save this again. And that, my friends, I think is going to be it for the Smuggler's Den. It was a ton of fun drawing for this for the first time. Next time, action in the chat would be awesome. If you have an idea for what we should draw or what we should include or what we should add to it, that would be cool. But honestly, I had a ton of fun fleshing this out and coming up with this concept. Again, this is super, you could refine this, or you could easily use this for something like Pathfinder or D&D or Dungeons and Dragons, or whatever you wanted to use. The firing range could easily be like have some practice weapon dummies on it, or like arrows, targets, and bows and stuff. This could be like a bandit's hideout. This kind of common room, you'd probably want to redesign it so they don't have like booths and stuff. But honestly, I think it really could be used for for anything that you want it to. Yeah. We got a nice thick lines for the mountain. But I think that's it. I think we're good. We've kind of covered off everything that we'd want to cover, I think. You know what? Let's add some more details to the table in the middle. Maybe there is a excuse me. Maybe there's like a series of charts in here or pieces of paper, whatever, that the smugglers have been studying. Maybe there's maybe it's like Death Star plans or something. I don't know. But you get the idea. We're just gonna draw like tiny lines like that, and it just kind of like makes all the difference, right? Just there's pens and paper or whatever you want to leave on those things. We're just gonna put on some details on these. So maybe there's just a bunch of drinks on these tables. Who knows? That is for your game master, or you as the game master, to figure out. Let's put like some just details, right? Let's add a little 3D to this. And that, my friends, that is it for the Smuggler's Den. Thanks so much for watching, everybody in the chat. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Nate, Dave. Super cool. I had a lot of fun drawing it. I think I'm going to try to do this like once a week or something like that, like every Sunday night. I think might be awesome. If you want to see this, I'm going to post. I've recorded it. I'm going to post it to YouTube, and then I'm going to share it on our website, epicroll.net. You can go there and you can see like we post inspirational photos and videos and links and all sorts of cool stuff to there. And if you want to see our story, our notes from our own games that we're running, stuff like that, you can check them out over at epicroll.net. My name is Matthew Hoy, or on here it's Hella Boz. But I'm Mo on epicroll.net. I got a bunch of names. We got all the social links. You can follow me on Twitter at MatthewH. If you want to follow Epic Roll, it's Epic Roll Blog on Twitter. If you have any questions ever you want to fire away, you can just tweet them over to me, or you can post them here in the chat, and I'll check them out. But I want to thank everybody very much for coming out to this first stream and helping support it. It meant a lot to me to see you there, and it meant a lot to get the chat and the help with the audio and stuff like that. And this was pretty easy to set up. This new PC definitely helps. So I think what we're going to do is we'll try to do this every Sunday night, provided my family obviously is going to come first and stuff. But yeah, I think it was cool. I think I had a great time doing this. I love doing all these little tiny details too, right? So let's lock this layer, and we're all locked out. And I'm just going to shut the stream down. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you coming to hang out, and check you out in a galaxy far, far away.